You have all taken seats that satisfy you, gentlemen. We will proceed at once with the business at hand.
Good.
Maps, photographs, and other data, Miss Arden.
Sorry, Mr. Parker.
Thank you. Gentlemen, we are faced with a crisis. We're in dire need of funds, and we shall acquire said funds from the Wentworth diamonds. Net profit to us, $500,000.
Boss, the Wentworth rocks are too hot to handle.
The main stone, yes. We have no interest in that. We shall acquire our revenue from the 24 smaller stones of the Wentworth collection.
We're going to take it out of Lady Wentworth's home?
Lady Wentworth has only a paste copy of the diamonds in her name. The real diamonds are in the National Vault. At 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, the diamonds are to be transferred by armored truck from the National Vaults for 2 weeks' display at the Manchester Museum. It is there that we appropriate them.
They'll be heavily guarded at the museum, won't they?
You will hire a dozen of the city's most capable trigger men. They'll be paid well.
I get it. Rough stuff.
You will lead the operations, Mr. Adams. 6 guards will stand in our way. The 2 at the front door can be subdued at trigger points. The 2 at the entrance to the gallery in which the Wentworth collection is being displayed may have to be rendered unconscious.
The other 2?
The other 2 will be guarding the Wentworth diamonds. They are to be killed.
When do you plan to do this?
I'll inform you of the exact day and time of day. In the meantime, you'll study these maps and photographs at the Manchester Museum. One more thing.
There's more?
Yes. We now come to that portion of our plans which involves the person known as Boston Blackie.
And now meet Richard Culmer as Boston Blackie. Enemy to those who make him an enemy, friend to those who have no friend. And now meet Richard Culmer as Boston Blackie. Enemy to those who make him an enemy, friend to those who have no friend.
Like walking in the rain, Blackie?
That's a leading question.
Where does it lead?
Well, right now, Mary, around the corner to your apartment.
Okay. Oh, it's been a wonderful evening.
Yeah. I hope the 3 of us enjoyed it.
The 3 of us.
Sure. You and I and the man who's been following us.
Someone following us? Why?
Never had a man follow you before?
Oh. Did you see someone?
Yes.
What do we do?
Keep talking.
About what?
Oh, anything. Tell me a funny story.
A funny story.
So when I get through with him, this guy following us will have something to laugh about.
All right.
After we turn this corner here, I'll stop. But you go ahead. Cut across the grass and keep talking all the time. Here's the corner. Now, keep going. I'll hug the wall and get this fellow as he goes by.
But what if he puts up a fight?
About the only thing he'll get to put up is a squawk. Keep on talking. I stop here. Wish me luck.
I do.
It was really the funniest thing that's happened to me in weeks, Blackie. The telephone rang about 7 o'clock this morning, and a squeaky little voice asked for Ozzy.
All right, you reach.
Gee, boss, don't shoot. It's me.
Shorty. Well, what? Wait a minute. Hey, Mary. Come on back. It's all right. It's a friend of mine.
I've been telling you all night, boss. I got to talk to you. But not with a dame, Blackie. I can't.
Since one of you turned girl shy? This is Mary Wesley, Shorty. Mary, this is Shorty, an old pal of mine.
Oh, how do you do? Boss, I got to talk to you, and where nobody can see us.
Well, if you 2 want to talk, you can come up to my apartment.
Nix, boss. This got to be private conference.
Come on, Shorty. It's all right. Mary doesn't talk. And besides, she makes good coffee.
Oh. Hey, boss. Hey, you're right. It's a parson. This is sure good coffee.
How right are you about this frame? That's what I'd like to know.
Well, I told you all I know, Blackie, and that's all I know. A high-class operator is going to snatch the Wentworth diamonds from the Manchester Museum.
And you got it straight from one of the hoods who was hired as a triggerman.
Well, from a guy who knew a guy who was hired.
But I don't understand how they're going to involve you, Blackie.
Well, the plan seems to be this. to dress one of the gunmen to look like me. He'll be called, Blackie several times during the holdup.
Yeah, and they figure to knock off a couple of guards, see? So Blackie'll get wrapped by the cops for murder. And then to cinch it, they're planting the big Wentworth diamond in Blackie's apartment.
Is this really true?
Probably, but that doesn't mean it's going to work.
Well, what are you going to do?
I don't know. I don't know when they're planning the robbery, so I don't know when to make sure to have an alibi. This is cute.
Well, why don't you try calling Inspector Faraday?
When I want somebody to laugh at me, I'll tell jokes.
Oh, please, Blackie, please. It's the smartest thing.
Will it make you happy?
Very.
All right. I've always wanted a legitimate excuse to wake Faraday in the middle of the night anyway.
Oh, he'll listen to you. I just know it.
Like I listen to opera. Faraday's probably snoring so loud that he was...
Hello?
Faraday, this is your old pal Blackie.
Blackie, what's the idea of calling me up this time of night?
What's the matter, Sleeping Beauty? Were you dreaming you had the goods on me at last?
Did you call me up to make jokes, Blackie? Because if you did,
No. Listen, Inspector, and listen carefully.
I'm not listening to anything from you. Go to bed and let me get some sleep.
Wait. Faraday. Faraday.
Did he hang up?
Well, he didn't exactly invite me over for a midnight snack.
Well, gee, boss, now what do we do?
I know what you're going to do, Blackie. Leave town.
Yeah, the lady's right, boss. You can't have no alibi 2 weeks long in this town. But if you just lamb out of town for 2 weeks...
I don't like to take it on the chin any more than anybody else, but I'm not going to take it on the lamb.
Oh, I know what you're thinking, darling. It's running away, and you don't want to run away. But please, Blackie, please do it for me.
I must be getting soft.
Well, it's the thing you gotta do, boss. For the lady's sake.
Now, I'll get your train or plane reservations. You go to your apartment with Shorty, and I'll phone you there.
I don't know why I'm doing this. I guess those looks of yours sure pack a wallop.
Never mind my looks. You just see to it that you pack a bag.
How many shirts you want in this suitcase, boss?
Oh, I don't know. Gosh, I wish that Chicago call would come in. Oh, well. Shorty, is there something that maybe you haven't told me yet? For instance, what time tomorrow are the diamonds being taken from the National Vaults to the museum?
At 7 o'clock. To be in the museum at 8, see? An armored car's picking them up.
No chance they intend to steal them en route. They're too well guarded in an armored car.
Gee, boss, how'd you know the diamonds would be picked up at the National Vaults instead of Lady Wentworth's house?
Lady Wentworth wears only paste copies of the Wentworth diamonds. The real ones have always been in a vault.
Gee, you know everything, boss.
Well, I know I'm in the clear till those stones get to the museum at 8 tomorrow morning. This is probably my Chicago call now.
Or the dame with the reservations on a train, maybe.
Hello?
Blackie, this is Mary. I couldn't get a plane reservation at all. I got a train reservation to Chicago just as you wanted, but it's not until Friday.
All right, then I'll leave on Friday.
Oh, but Blackie, to be perfectly safe, you have to be out of town before tomorrow morning.
Look, honey, don't worry. I'll play Invisible Man until Friday.
But I am worried, darling. What if they rob the museum before Friday?
Then I'm in a jam.
Well, if having an alibi will help, can't someone be with you all the time?
You like the job for yourself?
Oh, Blackie. Oh, Blackie, you know I can't meet you until 4 o'clock.
That has to be a date.
All right. Well, be careful, darling. And call me in the morning.
I'll give you a ring at 10.
See that you do. Night.
Good night. Well, Shorty, looks like you and I have a chance to have a little fun. I can't leave town till Friday.
Oh, gee, boss. You better tell your pal Kingston in Chicago. And tell him you're not coming to see him until Friday, huh?
Not at all, a short one. He's
Oh.
going to help me.
Oh. Well, gosh, what can he do? He's in Chicago.
He can give me a hand through one of his branch offices here. If I was... Oh, that's probably Charlie now. Hello?
Mr. Charles Kingston of the Kingston Corporation in Chicago calling Mr. Boston Blackie.
I'll take it, operator.
Here's your party, Mr. Kingston. Hello, Blackie.
Hello, Charlie.
How are you, fella?
Oh, swell, Charlie. Is the man who does favors in?
Good. It's a right round ticket, Blackie. What is it?
Can you hear me clearly?
Sure. Go ahead.
All right, Charlie. Here's what I want you to do.
Hello?
Morning, Mary.
Oh, Blackie, I've worried all night long. Where are you?
In my apartment. Stop worrying.
But, Blackie, as long as you're in town and those...
Look, Mary, everything's going to be all right. There's nothing to the...
Blackie! Blackie! What's the matter? Blackie!
I see the timetable of the Wentworth diamond robbery, Hazel?
Here you are, Mr. Farthing.
Good. Now, here on the chart, we can see what progress we will make today.
Mm-hmm.
It's 1:30. The men are here at this moment, a mile and a half south of the museum.
Mm-hmm.
In 15 minutes, the first of them will enter the museum and take their places. In 30 minutes, it'll all be over. You're smiling.
Yes,
You like the way I planned.
obviously.
If my schedule's right, this should be Mr. Boston Blackie. Come in.
Here he is, Mr. Farthing. Boston Blackie.
Oh. Won't you come in, Blackie?
Do I have a choice?
Not for the present. That'll be all, Tom.
Right.
I'm Roger Farthing. This is Miss Hazel Arden, my secretary. Hazel, the famous Boston Blackie.
How do you do?
How are you?
You know why you're here?
Not to play house. When do my teeth start chattering?
In exactly 22 minutes, men in my employ are going to steal the Wentworth diamonds from the Manchester Museum and inadvertently kill two of the guards. One of the gunmen will be referred to by the others as Blackie. You begin to see?
Seeing is a little habit I picked up some time ago.
Splendid. As you probably know, the main Wentworth diamond is too distinctive to be of value to anyone other than its rightful owner.
So?
So, one of my associates is placing it in your apartment shortly after the robbery, then informing the police of its whereabouts. You will be forced to remain here until it is found. You understand?
Perfectly.
You know something, Blackie? Nothing disturbs you. I'd like to have you on my side.
You want me on your side? Believe me, Farthing. You'd be more comfortable with acute appendicitis.
This way to the display of the Wentworth diamonds, the Arling Gallery to the right. This way.
Saw a couple of the cars drive up across the street. Boy should be coming through the front door in a minute, right? There they are. They took care of the guards at the door.
Go ahead, do your stuff.
All right, everybody get back. Keep quiet. This isn't any fooling.
Over this way, Blackie in here.
Come on, gang. Blackie, over this way.
Blackie, get those two guards. Cut them down. Cut them down.
I got the diamonds. Let's go.
Nice shooting, Blackie. Nice shooting. Those guards never know what hit them.
Faraday.
Inspector, this is Mary Wesley.
Yeah?
You remember me, don't you?
Oh, I remember all of Boston Blackie's friends, so I can identify him when we pull him out of the river. What do you want?
I talked to Blackie on the phone at 10 o'clock this morning. We were cut off. I haven't heard from him since.
Ooh, don't let that surprise you.
But I had a date with him at 4 o'clock, and he didn't show up. I'm worried about him.
I think you should be.
Has something happened?
Plenty. I hope you like music, Miss Wesley, because you're playing second fiddle to the Wentworth diamonds. Blackie stole them this afternoon.
Now back to our story. When we left Boston Blackie, he was, to all appearances, hopelessly victimized by Roger Farthing's plan to frame him for the theft of the Wentworth diamonds and the murder of the two museum guards. As provided in Farthing's plan, the police have been notified that the main Wentworth diamond is in Blackie's apartment. And as we continue our story, Inspector Faraday knocks on Blackie's door.
Okay, Blackie. Come on, open up in there. Open up! All right,
Hi, Inspector.
Okay, Shorty. Go on, get back in the apartment. Where's Blackie? Where's the Wentworth diamond?
The Wentworth diamond, Inspector?
Shorty, the only time you look smart is when you're trying to look dumb.
Oh, gee, thanks.
Sit down over there and behave yourself. I'm going to look around for that diamond.
Oh, Inspector, there ain't no jewel around here. In that drawer or anywhere else.
He not only stole the entire Wentworth collection, but he killed two guards. And you can't get out of a rap like that with a suspended sentence. Well, nothing in here. Maybe this drawer.
Look, Inspector, I can tell you the whole thing from the beginning if you'll believe me.
Yeah? Blackie rehearse you?
Look, do you remember when Blackie was...
Oh, the jewel wasn't here, huh? What's this, a kid's marble?
Gee. Hey, that rock's got more sparkle than a pinwheel.
Yeah, this is the Wentworth diamond, all right. Now, what do you do with the smaller ones?
You mean there's more?
You know there are more. And all around here,
Uh-oh.
Someone's coming down the hall. It's probably Blackie. Turn out the lights.
Oh, Inspector...
Turn out those lights.
Yes, sir.
This is going to be wonderful. door. Is that a signal to you?
It don't mean nothing to me.
I'll open it.
Blackie, are you... Oh,
Miss Wesley, it's you.
is Blackie here?
Turn on the light, Shorty.
Oh, sure thing. Hi, Miss Wesley.
Shorty, where is he? What happened to him?
Well, didn't he meet you?
No. And when he called me, we were cut off. I don't know what happened.
Oh, gee.
Okay, you two. Make yourselves comfortable. Because we're going to wait right here for Blackie.
Oh, gee, Inspector, I think you're way off base.
Think so, huh? Well, we're waiting here all night if we have to. Because with Miss Wesley here, I'll guarantee Blackie thinks there's no base like home.
Mr. Farthing.
Oh.
Mr. Farthing,
I must have fallen asleep, Hazel. Sleep well earned.
you've released Boston Blackie?
Yes, yes. Before very long, we shall hear that he's been picked up for robbery and murder. And tomorrow morning, I shall have in my hands 24 of the most precious diamonds in the world.
Tomorrow morning, Mr. Farthing. You mean this morning?
Oh, it is quite late, isn't it?
Nearly mid-morning.
I suggest you go to your room and try to sleep, Hazel. And if you are addicted to dreams, my dear, perchance you can dream of the crime so perfect that it cost nothing but the life of Boston Blackie.
Gee, Inspector. It's the middle of the morning. Hey, when do we get out of here, huh?
When I say you do, not before. So don't keep asking. Uh-oh, there's a key in the door. It's probably Blackie. Quiet.
Mary, Shorty, good morning. What?
Hold it, Blackie.
Oh, Inspector, do you have to turn up when I feel refreshed and happy? One look at you and I'm 20 years older.
You're not going to live 20 years, Blackie. What they do to you for murder in this state isn't good for your health.
What did I do? Kill one of your jokes?
You killed 2 guards at the Manchester Museum yesterday.
Don't be a fool, Faraday. I wasn't near the Manchester Museum when those guards were killed.
Then where did you get this diamond I found in your drawer? At the 5 and 10?
I could get one like that off a chandelier, Inspector. That's a phony.
That's the central diamond from the Wentworth collection. And you know it.
I don't even know that the diamonds were stolen.
What?
For all I know, they're still in the Manchester Museum, just where they ought to be.
Sometimes I think you ought to have your head examined. There are witnesses who saw you there. I find the diamond in your apartment, and you tell me the Wentworth jewels are still in the museum. Come on, what did you do with the smaller stones?
Mary, call the museum, will you?
Sure.
The phone number's Plaza 39613.
That kind of a stall isn't going to get you anywhere, Blackie. Forget about that phone call, Miss Wesley.
Make it, Mary, and don't be a dope, Faraday. Wait a minute.
Oh, what'll I say?
Tell the museum you're calling for Inspector Faraday.
All right.
I'm not going to wait around for any phone call.
Where would you like to meet us, Inspector? At the Ritz or the Roni?
Very funny, Blackie. But I don't need a phone call to prove those diamonds were stolen. I got one of them right in my hand.
Roll that stone out, Inspector, and it'd make a nice window pane.
Hello, Manchester Museum. I'm calling for Inspector Faraday. Yes, of police headquarters.
They don't even know you, pal.
Yes, just a minute. He wants to talk to you, Inspector.
Yeah? We didn't know who I was, huh? Give me that phone.
Blackie said he's been trying to reach the inspector
Hello,
all
this
morning.
is Faraday
Most people
talking.
don't know when they're well
What
off.
do you want? The Wentworth diamonds are in their display case. What? Sure. I'll be right down.
I told you the diamonds were right where they belong, Faraday. Have a nice trip down there. Mary and I are going to have some breakfast. You too, Shorty. Come on.
Just a minute, Blackie. I don't fall for any of the tricks this easy. I'm going down to have a look at those jewels, all right? But you're going with me.
Here are the diamonds, Inspector, just as they were before the robbery. I don't understand it, but here they are.
How do I know these aren't phony?
I beg your pardon, Inspector, but I'm an expert in such matters.
What about this diamond in my hand?
It's paste.
And what's this gag about the jewels being stolen, 2 guards killed?
Well, it's all very true, Inspector, but this morning when I came into the museum, here were the diamonds just as they were before the unfortunate incident. It's amazing.
Happy, Faraday?
All the diamonds are here?
All but one small stone. But we're so happy to have the other diamond returned, we aren't terribly concerned about...
Well, I'm concerned, especially about those 2 murdered guards.
I'll tell you where you can find that missing stone, Faraday, and the man responsible for the death of the 2 guards.
In your apartment?
No, in room 909 in the Winston Hotel. In the handkerchief pocket of a friend of mine.
Blackie, you're getting deeper and deeper into this every minute.
I'll be in plenty deep if a certain party had a cold last night. A diamond that size is nothing to sneeze at.
Here's room 909. Whose room is this?
You'll see.
Yes?
Hello, beautiful.
What do you want?
In. Come on, Inspector.
I'm with you.
How dare you force your way in here?
I seemed welcome enough here yesterday. Where's Farthing?
Who's out there?
Don't talk, beautiful. He's in there, Inspector. Come on.
Mr. Farthing, it's the police.
What's the meaning of...
You two know each other, don't you?
Hello, Farthing. I didn't know you were in town.
Oh, good morning, Inspector. I was just in town for the day on a buying trip.
Buying diamonds, Inspector.
Diamonds?
For free. Look in his handkerchief pocket, Faraday.
I'm in no mood for practical jokes, gentlemen. I have a business appointment that I...
You may
intend
have to reach inside for the stone, Faraday. The handkerchief may not pull it out.
We'll see. There.
What fell on the desk, Inspector?
Looks like a diamond to me. Farthing, if this is from the Wentworth collection, I'm arresting you for murder and robbery.
It's from the Wentworth collection, all right.
From the looks of it, I'd say the same thing. Congratulations, Blackie.
Farthing, do you admit this is a Wentworth diamond?
Oh, I see no reason why I shouldn't. You'll discover it for yourself in due time. I know when I'm beaten, but I don't know how. Blackie?
Sorry, Farthing. That's a secret of the profession.
If we of the same profession were alone...
Same profession? Don't flatter yourself, Farthing.
Inspector, would you be so kind?
Let us have 5 minutes alone, Faraday. It's all right.
I'm not the type to run away from anything once I run into it. It's entirely safe.
Well, with Blackie in here and me outside the door, I guess it's okay. 5 minutes, no more.
Sit down.
Thanks. You're a good sport, Farthing. Sit right here.
A gambler has to be a good sport.
Yes, I guess he does.
I'm amazed. How did you do it, Blackie? When?
The diamond in your pocket? It wasn't easy. You didn't let me get close to you but once when I was here yesterday. Fortunately, once was enough.
But that's so utterly impossible. The diamonds were still in the museum when you were here yesterday.
That's where you're wrong, Farthing. The diamonds were never in the museum. Only a set of paste.
What?
I switched them myself at the National Vaults, 8 o'clock yesterday morning.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Tell me how.
Well, the first thing I did was to borrow Lady Wentworth's paste set.
Mm-hmm.
That was easy. Lady Wentworth is away. The paste set is not locked up because it's worthless. Then I hired an armored car.
That alone is no simple matter.
It was simple enough for my friend Charlie Kingston.
Of Chicago?
Yes. He hired an armored car for me through his local office.
And how did you use this armored car?
My friend Shorty and I dressed as bank guards and went to the delivery entrance of the vaults a little before 8 with the paste diamonds in a case just like the ones the real diamonds were in.
I see. You stayed just inside the delivery entrance until the armored truck came along, then walked out with the paste diamonds and gave them to the driver.
Well, that was no problem. We weren't stealing anything, just handing to the driver something he expected to get.
So far, brilliant, brilliant. Then what?
Then Shorty and I got our own armored car from around the block, drove it to the delivery entrance of the vault, and picked up the real diamonds from the real bank guards.
That was simple, too, because the bank guards expected to see an armored car outside the delivery entrance.
So a set of phonies went to the museum, and I kept the real set. Until after your men robbed the museum. Then I broke into the museum at night and delivered the real diamonds, that is, all except the one small stone which I planted on you.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Thanks. That's a lot coming from you under the circumstances.
I am an artist in my way, Blackie, and you're an artist in yours. Does one great painter scoff at the work of another because the other's artistry is superior to his own?
Maybe you're not the artist you think, Farthing.
Why do you say that?
The idea of involving me. It seems to me that a good artist concentrates more on the picture and a little less on the frame.
Oh, Blackie, look at those lovely diamonds in this window. Aren't those engagement rings beautiful?
They sure are.
Oh, how I'd love to have that one there.
You would?
Well, it might depend on who gave it to me.
Oh.
I might like you to give me one someday. Except
what?
Except I'd never be quite sure just how you got it.
Hey, boss, look over there on that bench. Love boys.
What you expect in a park, Shorty? Penguins?
Well, these love boys can't fly, boss.
Neither can penguins.
Yeah. Gee, Blackie, I didn't know there was a lake down this part of the park.
Well, Shorty, we've never taken this path to Mary's before.
Huh? What do we do from here, swim?
Now we take this footbridge.
Oh, gee, it sure is a plenty cute lake for such a little one, eh?
Well, stay away from that bridge railing, or you'll be telling me it's a plenty wet lake for such a little one.
Hey, boss,
Now what?
look, line in the water there. Right by the shore.
Uh-oh.
Well, is it?
It sure is.
Is it, dead?
If it isn't, it's awful careless. Come on, let's have a look.
Gee, boss, is he dead?
You used the wrong pronoun, short one. When a he is dead, he's an it.
It's an it?
By virtue of a slight case of no breathing. Light a match, will you?
Oh, sure. Then, we better call a cop, huh?
Are you kidding? All I have to do is pronounce the word body, and Inspector Faraday dusts out a cell all for me.
Gee, what do you know? Face down in the water with his feet on the shore. A plain case of suicide, boss. It'll be okay to call a cop.
It'll be murder to call a cop, Shorty, because that's what this is.
This guy didn't bump himself?
Not unless he rode here on the back of a duck. Look at his shoes.
Kind of neat looking.
And he pulled a neat trick, getting here without walking on them.
Matches don't burn well. What do you mean by that, boss?
He's wearing brand new shoes, Shorty, never walked on. And it's a plenty long hike from here to the edge of the park.
Gee, and I said let's call a cop.
Come on, let's get out of here.
Yeah, sure, boss.
Hey, you two. What's going on down there?
Hey, boss, it's a cop.
What's that lying in the water? A body?
Uh-oh, Shorty. Here we go again.
And now meet Boston Blackie, enemy to those who make him an enemy, friend to those who have no friend.
All right, Blackie, come on in. I want to talk to you.
Well, look what invites me into the morgue. A body that walks and talks. Inspector Faraday.
Blackie, some of these days you're going to underestimate me and be sorry.
Don't tell me this case is closed already.
Maybe I look dumb, Blackie, but I'm not. We police see things that other people don't.
Oh?
I'll let you in on a little secret, chum. This isn't suicide, it's murder.
Murder?
Surprised, huh?
Plenty. What makes you think it's murder?
I don't think, I know. What a clever stunt this was. Would have gotten by somebody like you, but not me. I saw it the minute they brought the body in. And you, the great Boston Blackie, you thought it was suicide.
Well, I'm certainly surprised.
I thought you would be, pal.
I didn't think you'd notice the shoes.
Well, when you know you... You mean you... Why, you double-crosser, you knew it all the time.
That's why I hung around. I thought you'd never notice it. Only a dope would fail to see no more than 10 steps have been taken in those shoes.
I ought to throw you in jail.
Don't choke yourself with jealousy, pal. This murdered guy, Walters, could have taken a cab to within 20 feet of the lake.
I'm way ahead of you again, Blackie. I checked with every cab company in town. He didn't take a taxi.
It's murder, all right. And I know how it was done.
You'd speculate on anything, wouldn't you?
It's as simple as a nursery rhyme, my dear fellow. He was picked up outside his apartment house, driven to the lake by his killer, hit over the head, and tossed into the lake.
I'll buy that. But you'll have to give me a cut rate.
I know it's not worth much until we have a suspect for the motive.
I've got a suspect with plenty of motive. A guy's wife. She didn't even break up when she identified the body. And guess where she says she was at the time Walters died? At a movie, alone.
What did Mrs. Walters say when you told her it was murder?
I didn't tell her. I've got Mrs. Walters tagged as a possible suspect. She admits she and her husband never got along. If she thinks I'm convinced it's suicide, she'll drop her guard. I'm even releasing a suicide story to the papers.
Faraday, you astound me.
Really? Okay, Blackie. You knew this was murder from the start, so maybe you know a whole lot more.
Put that gun away, Faraday. Don't you know it's impolite to point?
You found the body, Blackie. So I'm holding you as a material witness and locking you up till I've got my case against Mrs. Walters.
Faraday, please, please. The gun, you know.
I know, and it stays in my hand. If you've finished pawing over Walter's shoe, come on. Leave the shoe here.
Where do you want me to put it?
On this table right here.
Take hold of the size 11 by the toe. It's surprising how heavy a shoe can be.
Put the shoe down, will you? And come on.
Sure, I'll put it down right on your hand. Leave your gun on the floor, Faraday, or I'll have to use mine on you.
So help me, Blackie. You run out on this, and I'll throw the book at you.
How far can you throw a book, Faraday? I'm going a long way.
You won't get far. Every cop on the force will guarantee that, personally.
When you can get another key made for this door, Faraday, maybe someone on the force will let you out.
Where you go?
Hey, officer.
Yeah? What is it?
If you can get into the morgue, you'd better have a look around.
What for?
There's a brand new body in there, but it's dead only from the neck up. Mrs. John Waters?
Yes?
I'm from the police department. May I come in?
Oh, yes, of course.
Thanks.
Are you from Inspector Faraday?
Straight from him. I'd like to ask you a few questions.
I see.
Your late husband carried life insurance?
Doesn't almost everybody?
That doesn't answer my question.
Yes.
That does. For how much?
I don't know.
For how much?
Enough. Is that all?
No. May I see the policy?
I don't have it.
Where is it?
I'm not sure. In my husband's safety deposit box, I suppose.
You the sole beneficiary?
I suppose I am. I never asked my husband.
Do you suppose everything? What company did your husband carry his insurance with, or do you just suppose it was some company?
No, it's the New Northern Life, I think.
Oh, first you suppose, now you think. Well, that's a big improvement.
Look here, I don't think you're from the police at all.
Some cops still have arches, Mrs. Walters.
You're not from the police. Who are you?
I'm asking the questions, Mrs. Walters.
Well, I'm going to call Inspector Faraday.
Your husband's policy is with the New Northern Life, huh? Now, can you remember for how much?
I'm not answering any more questions.
Police department.
Inspector Faraday, please.
Yes, ma'am. Faraday speaking.
Inspector, this is Sarah Walters.
Oh, yeah?
Did you send a man from your department to talk to me?
I did not.
Well, there's a man here now who claims that he came from your office.
Put him on the phone.
Of course. Inspector Faraday wants to talk to you. Here.
Thank you.
Hello? Hello?
Hello, sweetheart. How does it feel to be out of the morgue again?
Blackie, I might have known it was you.
I know. You're going to send up a squad car and then pick me up.
You better behave yourself. You're getting in this deeper every minute.
I don't know what I'm getting into, Inspector, but I do know I'm getting out of here, so don't bother to send for me. Goodbye.
Blackie, so help me when I...
Sorry to be leaving, Mrs. Walters, but this place is going to be full of cops in a few minutes, and I hate crowds.
Who are you, anyway?
The name's Blackie.
Boston Blackie?
That's right.
Then you're the one who found my husband's body.
And that isn't all I found, Mrs. Walters. And if Faraday doesn't see me first, I'll see you again.
Tom Jenkins' law office. Jenkins speaking.
Tom, this is Sarah.
Oh, hello.
Tom, John's dead.
What?
He was found in the lake in the park this evening.
Oh, Sarah, I'm so sorry. How did it happen?
He killed himself.
Is there anything I can do?
I don't know. I'm worried.
Worried?
Tom, I have a hunch the police suspect it's murder.
Murder? What makes you think so?
A man by the name of Boston Blackie was here, asking terrible questions. Tom, what can I do?
What do you mean?
If it's murder, I'm afraid.
Why? Do you have anything to hide?
No,
Then what are you worried about?
I'm just worried.
Well, stop it. Is up there questioning you?
Boston Blackie.
Boston Blackie? Well, forget about him. Get him off your mind.
I wish somebody would get him off this case.
I know you're the beauty of the New Northern Life Insurance Company, baby, but are you the brains, too?
That depends on what you want to know.
Well, you see, I carry a life insurance policy with your company. My name's John Walters.
Yeah?
I've forgotten the name of the man who sold me the policy. You could give it to me, couldn't you?
Well, not from memory. But I should have it in my file.
I think I should have you in my file.
Is there room?
Sure. You probably have a very small name.
What was your name again?
It's still John Walters.
Walter, Abel, Walters, Ira, Walters, John. Here we are.
The salesman's name?
Here it is, Fred Singer.
I'd like to talk to him.
Oh, that door right there. Just knock.
Thanks. And, who got me this information?
Mr. Singer will be glad to do anything he can for you.
I'll be back.
Come in.
Fred Singer?
That's right.
I'd like to ask you a few questions.
I don't think I've had...
My name's Blackie, Boston Blackie.
Oh,
You sold an insurance policy to John Walters, didn't you?
that's right.
When?
I'm afraid you'd better explain your reasons for these questions.
John Walters is dead.
What did you say?
When did you sell him this policy?
A month ago.
For how much?
$50,000.
Who's the beneficiary?
His wife.
How well did you know Mrs. Walters?
I've never met her.
Oh,
This is certainly a shock about Walters. How did he die?
he was murdered.
Oh, the police know who killed him?
Well, I'll give you a hint. If the police can prove their case, they'll save your company $50,000.
Look, Blackie, when we get upstairs to the old place, let's stay there, huh? We're not in this mess. It's got nothing to do with us.
Faraday's figuring Mrs. Walters killed her husband, but I don't know, somehow I don't like that.
Would you like it better if Faraday pinned it on you?
Well, it'd be a lot more natural.
What do we do now?
You're going to shadow Mrs. Walters. I've got a hunch if we watch her movements, she'll either prove Faraday is right or clear herself.
Okay, boss. You're the boss, but I... Hey, Blackie. I don't like the looks of this car coming up the street.
Uh-oh.
Boss, I got a funny feeling...
In the building, Shorty, quick.
Yeah. We ain't gonna make it, boss.
We'd better.
Oh. Hey, boss. Blackie! Hey, Blackie!
And now, back to Boston Blackie. Though he's being sought by Inspector Faraday as a material witness in the murder of John Walters, Boston Blackie has managed to interview Mrs. Walters, Faraday's chief suspect, Fred Singer, who sold the insurance policy to the dead man, and get himself shot at by an unknown assailant. As we return to our story, Blackie is still avoiding Faraday and is at the apartment of Mary Wesley, where the young nurse is dressing his bullet wound.
This'll hurt a little, Blackie.
You know you're supposed to report this to the police, don't you?
Yes.
It's the law.
Yes, I know. Was Shorty hurt, too?
No, not a scratch.
Ouch! Sorry. What kind of trouble are you in this time?
Up until this bullet autographed my arm, I wasn't in any trouble. I thought.
Now we're both in trouble.
Oh, don't worry, honey. I'll report this to Faraday myself. Shall I answer?
It's probably for you.
Hello.
Hello, Blackie. Blackie, this Shorty here.
Are you still trailing Mrs. Walters?
Boss, I'm shagging after that dame like she owed me the last $10 bill in town. Hey, you know something, boss?
As much as my IQ will allow.
I don't know nothing from IQs, but I know I've seen this Walters dame somewhere before.
Now, don't tell me she's a waterfront moll in Park Avenue clothing.
I don't know about that. I just know that I've seen her before.
Well, don't lose her. Where is she now?
Well, I tell you, first she went into the bank, boss, and then she went into an apartment building across the street from here, see?
Do you know what apartment?
Yeah, a guy named Singer.
Fred Singer?
Yeah. Hey, boss, how did you know that?
Never mind that. Singer told me he didn't even know Mrs. Walters. Where are you now?
In a drugstore at the corner of 86th Street and Elmhurst.
I'll be right up.
Well, you better step on it, boss. The dame went into that building like she was in a hurry.
I have a hunch she's not only in a hurry, short one. I think the lady's also in a jam.
Who is it? Who is it?
Hello, Singer.
Oh, no, you don't.
Oh, yes, I do. Oh, thanks for the pleasant welcome. Well, hello, Mrs. Walters.
Again?
Well, this is all very cozy. Two people who don't even know each other.
Of course we know each other, and we have for years. You don't think we'd be foolish enough to tell you or the police?
You were foolish enough to let my man trail Mrs. Walters to your apartment. Now, what goes?
I don't think we have to answer your questions. You're not from the police.
Well, maybe you'd rather answer their questions.
What do you want?
Let's see that insurance policy.
What insurance policy?
The one you sold John Walters.
Don't be a fool. What would it be doing here?
You brought it here, Mrs. Walters.
I did not.
You didn't stop in at the bank on your way here to get change for $1. Oh, no. Let's see the policy.
All right, let him see it then.
Here, huh? Oh, this is cozy. The policy, Mrs. Walters.
I'm getting it out of my purse now.
Be sure it doesn't come out with bullets in it.
Here it is.
Thanks.
I don't see what you intend to accomplish with all this prying.
For one thing, I intend to find out who hit John Walters on the head, so I can get Faraday off my neck. Let's have that policy.
You can see I wasn't lying. It was signed a month ago, and it's for $50,000, just as I said.
Mind if I use your phone?
Go ahead. If you want anything in that policy,
It explains itself.
Who are you calling?
Inspector Faraday. To turn you two in for the murder of John Walters.
You out of your mind?
Don't move, either one of you. I've got a good gun and better aim.
Faraday speaking.
Hello, Faraday. This is Blackie.
Okay, Blackie, this has gone far enough. I'm issuing a warrant for your arrest. You...
Look, chum, don't make any more mistakes than you've already made, or I'll make you solve this case by yourself.
Oh, yeah?
You want Mrs. Walters, and the man who sold John Walters is insurance.
I was just checking into the insurance angle on this thing.
Well, I've checked for you, sweetheart. Here's the dope. It's as pat as the pan on your face there. Mrs. Walters wanted a divorce. Singer wanted Mrs. Walters. The only thing that stood in the way was Mr. Walters.
Ah, that's an old one, the love angle.
Yes, but love wasn't enough this time. Money was interesting, too. So Singer sold Walters a policy for $50,000 payable to Mrs. Walters.
I get it. Then the two of them knocked off Mr. Walters so they could get married and live happily ever after. Or until the $50,000 ran out.
You see, Faraday, it's so simple, even you can manage to figure it out. And they both happen to be right here in Singer's apartment. Number 2A, northwest corner of 86th and Elmhurst Avenue.
Okay, I'll be right up for him. But you stay there, too, Blackie. You're not out of this yet.
Sorry, pal, I can't wait. I've got work to do. But Shorty will hold him for you.
Look, you're way off the beam.
You better sit down, Singer, and you too, Mrs. Walters. Faraday won't be here to pick you up for 10 minutes. Hey, Shorty.
Yeah, boss?
Come on up quick. Use the stairs. They're faster.
Right away, boss.
Well, I guess about all you two need now is a lawyer.
I'd like to call mine now, if you don't mind.
I do mind.
Oh, Fred, what are we going to do?
Just sit tight, I guess. That's all we can do for the moment.
That's what Tom told me to do, too, and look what's happened.
Who's Tom?
My lawyer. Please let me call him.
Seems to me you've already called him.
I did, after you came to see me this afternoon.
What's his name?
Tom Jenkins.
Here I am, boss.
Okay, Shorty. Just keep an eye on these two lovebirds till the police come and put them into their cages.
Hey, gee, boss, now I know.
Now you know what?
Now I know where I seen his dame. It was in a police line up in Los Angeles when I was picked up on a phony charge.
Why, you're crazy.
Well, this gets more interesting every minute.
I even remember what you was up for, boss. It was robbery. And her name was Sarah Walsh.
That's not true.
This could go on forever. See that these two don't run out before the cops get here, Shorty.
Right.
I'm going to run down Mrs. Walters' lawyer.
Yes, I've been Mrs. Walters' lawyer for many years.
But you never knew Mr. Walters?
No, I didn't. They didn't get along too well, you know. I was Mrs. Walters' attorney.
Nice place you have here.
I like it.
I was in a lawyer's office just the other afternoon. He had the same kind of paneling.
Really? I'm very busy, Blackie. A lot of work to do, so if you just tell me why you came down
Jenkins. Tom Jenkins. Now, let me see. Are you by any chance related to the Alfred Jenkins on the east side?
No, I'm not. Now look here. Excuse me. Hello?
Is Boston Blackie there?
Why, yes. In just a minute. It's for you.
Oh, thanks. Hello?
Blackie,
Yes, Mary.
I called Los Angeles just as you told me to.
Oh, what'd you find out?
Is it all right to talk?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Nobody can hear you.
Well, you were right. A Sarah Walsh was sent to a California prison for 3 years for robbery.
Uh-huh.
She later changed her name to Sarah Burroughs. Then she came east where she married John Walters.
Swell. Anything else?
Yes. I asked about the name of her attorney on that case. It was a man by the name of Tom Jenkins. He was disbarred several years later for malpractice.
Mary, you're the most wonderful girl in the world.
Yes, I know. On a telephone.
I'll talk to you in person in the best restaurant in town at 8 o'clock tonight. I'll call for you at 7.
Well, I won't wait a minute after 9.
Good girl. Bye-bye.
Now, can we get down to business, or may I go to work?
Sorry to hold you up, Jenkins. Gee, I'm really sorry. One more phone call, and then we can talk.
Go ahead.
Hey, this is Blackie.
Hello, Blackie. Have to thank you this time.
What for, pal?
I believe in being fair. Thanks to you, I've got the teeth, and the whole case sewed up in a sack.
Faraday, you haven't got anything.
Are you crazy?
Read that insurance policy.
What for?
Look, Walter's death was supposed to look like suicide, wasn't it?
Any fool could have told that.
Then only a fool would have wanted Walter's death to look like suicide, if he knew what was in that insurance policy, and both Mrs. Walters and Singer knew it.
Know what?
That a suicide clause voided the policy in the event Walter killed himself inside of 2 years. And that policy was only 1 month old.
Well, I'll be
Inspector, mustn't brag.
You've made a fool out of me, Blackie. You've
Relax, Inspector. I thought Singer and Mrs. Walters were the ones we wanted, too, until I read the policy carefully. But now I've got your real killer for you.
Where?
Right here, room 1051 in the city building. His name is Tom Jenkins.
Put down that receiver, Blackie.
Afraid I'll have to put an end to this little conversation, Inspector.
I heard what he said. I'll have a squad up there in 5 minutes.
For the last time, put that receiver down.
With pleasure. It was getting sort of heavy anyhow.
Very clever.
Oh, not very.
For that very lovely shot in the dark, you're going to get a shot in the back.
Oh, I don't think so.
This gun in my hand wasn't filled at a water fountain.
Oh, I was referring to what you called my shot in the dark. I wasn't guessing at all.
Oh, you looked into your little crystal ball, huh?
No, into the court records in Los Angeles. Mrs. Walters went to jail out there a few years ago, and you were her lawyer.
Well, you are informed, aren't you?
Better than you think. When she came east, she changed her name, married John Walters, had 2 children, and then you followed her to blackmail her for every dime she could lay her hands on.
Your answers don't wait for questions, do they?
A little while ago, Mrs. Walters went broke, didn't she?
What makes you think so?
It had to be like that. You murdered John Walters to get the $50,000 for which he was insured, because you knew you could get every penny of it from Mrs. Walters.
I don't think you can prove that.
You must think so, or you wouldn't be holding that gun at me.
Just a precaution.
Well, I'll tell you why I can prove you killed John Walters, if you'd like to know. The clue is in the insurance policy, and you're the only one of 3 suspects who didn't see the policy.
Oh?
If you had read the policy, you wouldn't have made it look like suicide. After all, you did want Mrs. Walters to collect.
Well, you're a very clever young man. It's too bad I missed when I shot at you this afternoon. But it isn't too late.
Put away that gun, Jenkins. Cops will be here in a few minutes.
I won't kill you here. We're leaving. And take my car for a drive in the country.
You dumped Walters in the park, and you're going to dump me out in the country. Murder seems to bring out the rural in you.
I'll just search you for your gun, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I have no gun. Let's go, Blackie. Right out that door, the way you came in.
Okay.
And just remember, this hand in my coat pocket has a gun in it.
I wouldn't have to give it a second thought if I had my gun with me.
Here's your gun, boss.
What do you... Well, Shorty.
Yep. Here's your gun, boss. Stick it in this guy's back.
That was a wonderful dinner, Blackie.
I like a little food with my conversation.
But, Blackie, I had a lot of questions to ask you.
Have you run out of them yet?
Nope, just one more.
All right.
Where shall we walk? Oh, it's a beautiful night.
Well, here's the park. What about through here?
Oh, Blackie, do you think we should? Isn't this the path you and Shorty were on when you found that body? Remember all the trouble that caused you.
Honey, anytime I walk through a park with Shorty when you're available, I deserve to have trouble.